Okay. This is a fun question to ask someone. If they're kind of being snotty, is, hey, can you even handle the 10K that we can make you?
Hmm.
Right? Could you handle the results that we can show up for you? All right. What if we do help you lose 100 pounds in the next year? What then?
Mm-hmm.
Really, what we're going for here is we want to know, are they taking this seriously? Do they just want to know the price so they can get defeated by it? Or do they want to know the price because they already did all their research, right? They want to know the price because they've had a call before with your company. They're ready to buy. We want to know this first question here essentially because will our offer break their business? Was it going to completely tap their cash flow? So we want to know, hey, what happens if we hit the gas on this and we accelerate and we take your business in the next 10 weeks from A to B? What happens? What changes? Are you ready for that? Is that a good thing? Does it scare the shit out of you? What happens? What comes up whenever you actually put this success scenario in front of this person? This is a great mindset qualifying question. It really is. So is it a little bit of a future pace? But this is just helping you get clear if they have the right mindset to handle our results. Boom.
Love it. Absolutely. So are they seeing anything keeping them stuck? Probably not, because they're calling you.
Yeah.
Right? It's a known unknown.
Yep. I always actually like to ask this question. Hey, is there anything that would get in the way if we were to work together for the next 4 months? If we're going to work together for the next 2 months, is there anything that would jump out in front of you and get in the way?
Mm-hmm. Perfect, man.
I love that question.
Yep.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. And blaming and victimizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, accountability is huge. Accountability is huge when you're an entrepreneur, right? A lot of these offers are, hey, I need some sort of systems and controls in what I'm doing, or I need to learn a new trade, or I need to learn a new skill, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just like you guys, you're learning high ticket sales.
Yep.
There's accountability there. You're at the top of the food chain when you're an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not filling yourself up with good things around you, big trouble. If you're blaming the market on what you're doing, if you're blaming bad copy,
Yeah.
On you not having what you want, if you're blaming the guy next to you who, he was born on third base and thinks he's hit a triple type deal. It's like you are playing the victim card, right? Stand up, take it on, own it. Honesty, forthrightness are always going to be appealing, right? And they'll get you out of trouble.
Yeah. And the cool thing about this, you get on the phone with someone who owns their decisions. It's the most clearly attractive thing that anyone can have in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There's no blaming. There's no storytelling. There's no victimization about what has happened. And if there is, you should be inviting people to move past that, right? A lot of people get hung up on money. Hey, do you see anything for the next couple of weeks that would maybe prevent you from taking action on everything that we've just been talking about for the next 30 minutes? Oh, well, it depends on how much it costs. Okay. So
Really?
aside from money, we take that out for a second. You still want what you still want, right? So aside from spending money, you still want to make more money. So we see the dichotomy there and how that doesn't really make sense. They're blaming that on money. They're playing the victim card there and just giving their power away to money. We see that a lot.
You get somebody that tips their hand, by the way, getting back to what you just said, that sweet part of a conversation, humongous buying signal, by the way. If somebody is clear on exactly what their gap is, oh my goodness. First of all, they just did your job.
Yeah, you can throw out like half the playbook from Module 3.
Yep.
When someone's already giving you buying signals and they're like, hey, I've been screwing this up. You guys clearly know how to fix this. How do you do that exactly? You can literally just put that Module 3 playbook up and then move on to where we are right now in the conversation.
You bet. Well, let's get you in the right spot. You can almost just cancel out some things, right? if somebody says that, it's going to be weird getting back into some of those get to know you questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, boom. All right, let's
Yeah.
get you there. Right.
I don't love making these references on our modules, but it literally someone just jumped into bed and you're like still at the front door and you're like, do I take my shoes off? And they're naked in the bed, guys. They're like, hey, let's go. Let's do this, right?
Yeah.
This is how I like my breakfast. This is what I like. This is how I like my coffee in the morning.
Hot damn.
Cool. The last one, this is a point of awareness that you guys will typically have going into this phase of the conversation, but if it hasn't come up, we like to ask, have they seriously tried to fix this before? And is that meaning, what have they invested in to fix this? So you can uncover this a couple of different ways. Have they hired a mentor? Did they buy a video course? Did they do a video on Facebook ads? How did that go, right? Did they have a friend who kind of showed them, how to put together a website, right? How did that go? Will we need to clean up someone else's mess? That's really what I want to know. Are you going to have to unlearn some bad habits, throw out a $2 or $3 or $10,000 investment that's just not serving them? Or are they scratch? Are they starting from scratch? The latter is actually the preferred, right? It's great for people to have some reference in personal development and coaching and things like that. But if they've had their best friend from high school as their life coach for the past 10 years, guess who you're going to have to filter all of your coaching through? That person. So there are some things to be aware of. It's not going to stop you from making an offer if they seem like an open-minded and open-hearted person and they're really focused on your offer. But you want to be aware of those things because they will sneak up as some of those black swans, those unknown unknowns later.
I love it, man. And it's a separator question, right? It's getting to the point of, hey,
yep.
I don't want to talk about a $49 course you bought one time. Like, how serious is this? And how serious are you?
Yeah.
Right?
Because if they're just dabbling on boosting Facebook posts and you're talking about running tested, split, paid advertising,
there you go.
It's different things. It's a different thing. Yeah, different ballpark. Cool. Let's carry on. All right, you got this, right? They got this. So this is one of the last points of qualification that I'll give you guys for today. Are they supported? Do they feel supported with their existing network right now? So how confident? I want you to actually ask these questions. How confident would you be with the support of a mentor? So whatever sequence you want to ask these questions, go for it. Whatever language you want to change, go for it, right? We're always inviting you guys to make these your own. But I want you to actually ask these questions. How confident would you be with the support? How confident are you that you can solve this on your own? Now, the second question for me is far more important, the solving it on their own. Because this is going to help you realize, how serious is this person? How committed are they? And are they taking this seriously, just like we just talked about? And it also gives you a very firm red light, green light scenario where you're either going to make them an offer and spend the next 20 to 30 minutes with them, going through that offer and handling any objections or excuses they have, or you're saving your time and you're going to go make yourself some food or walk your dog.
I think that last one that you were just mentioning, Cody, it's pretty much, they're pretty clear. I think they're on the phone with you. They've clicked an ad. They've watched some stuff. They're pretty clear they can't do it on their own. So this is just another way to get almost double buy-in, right? When you get that, it's like, okay, you bet.
You got zero questions in your mind that they want your help. They just gave you permission to help them, to solve their problem for them. So just like Ryan said, if they were clear, if they were like, hey, I came to this phone call, like that's why I'm here, right? I don't know. And they've expressed that to you, then you don't need to ask this question. You just, hey, you mind if I give you my thoughts on the situation? They're like, please. I've been waiting for that.
Yes.
So now we want to talk about recapping. If you are new to high ticket sales, then you may not have had to recap what your clients have been saying to you, because you typically just deal with one or two problems and then bada boom, they're out of there. But you're talking about emotions, you're talking about the whole aspect of a business. So it can get complex, which is why we will share with you our mnemonics and our own personal ways of taking notes, because you're going to want to find yours, and your recap is going to be pretty tight, and it's going to follow a quick little structure here. So we've got all the pieces that we need to make our diagnosis. You're in the doctor's office, and now the doctor is going to prescribe you what is wrong and what you do to fix it. So this frames your ability to coach, solve, and truly lead them into a place of decision making and taking action. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to share with them the things that we've gathered through investigating their situation, getting to know them. And really from here, it's just about following the structure every time. The more you deviate, the more you ramble, and the less that they're listening, the more that they're going to feel like you just repeated back to them everything that they said. You didn't really have your own perspective or opinion on it. So doing it this way packs a punch, and it's really going to be full of truth they were hoping that you forgot or just didn't hear. So here's how it goes. It's going to go something like this. We're going to follow the knowns that we found today, right? So, hey, I understand, Ryan. I totally get it, why you've been struggling with this, because quite frankly, you just haven't figured out a consistent lead generation system for your business. You're doing a lot of things, and I think we've covered most of the main ones that you've tried over the past couple of months. And I want you to know really that you're in the right place. We see this literally hundreds of times a month. We don't work with everyone. But I feel like with your personality, your mindset, and all the boxes that you've been checking off, that it's a good fit for us. So yeah, I mean, if you're open to it, I'd love to tell you a little bit more about what working with us looks like.
Actually, if you just tell me the price, I've got my credit card in hand.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you're ready to go, then yeah, I mean, I'd still want to give you the high notes, but
I don't know. That was a great recap.
Ryan's a good guy.
That's good. I hope that makes sense to you guys too, because that's good stuff. Super important.
If you guys are recapping this way, that person is leaning in. They're like, yes, you heard me. Okay. My problems. Okay. You solve them every day. Okay. And then they are going to want to hear more. Or if they've done their research, or if they've had another call or something like that, then they may just be ready to hand you the digits. So, as you can see, it's basically like, hey, these are the knowns we found today. These are the known unknowns that you haven't figured out yet, and you're still being elusive there, but you're like, hey, the good news is we've seen a lot of these unknowns. We've seen a lot of black swans in our day, literally hundreds a month or whatever. Cool. That's really the recap in a nutshell.
I love it. I was just thinking real quick, if you're ever jammed up, maybe just think about in a relationship what you'd say to your partner, right? Like my wife, I can oftentimes, if I'm really listening, I will use this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, honey. So I see, the kids are running you nuts because they just went back to school. Yeah. All right. We haven't figured out our schedule yet. There's some new things happening. I'm going to check my schedule so I can figure out how to help you the best. And we're going to get this thing done so we both feel X. All right. Think about it. Just think about something like that with your partner, right?
Love that. I love that. So another thing that Ryan and I talk about that's in a similar structure is the feedback sandwich. It's just that same thing. It's like, hey, I acknowledge this. You did this great. You haven't figured this out yet. We got to work on this one. And I want you to know that I'm going to help you with it. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's just this comfort. And then you got that little bit of feedback, that diagnosis, that opportunity, that punch to the nose a little bit in there. However you want to language it, guys, it's addressing their concerns. It's letting them know that there are some things that are in their circle of influence right now that they haven't gotten licked, and that it's well within yours and your company's circle of control. So that graphic, guys, if you haven't read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, we'll put that one on the reading list as well. That'll help you get everything done in the world. Okay. All right, real quick, guys, do they want this? This is an intuition. All right, so remember all your framing. We want to remember after all of this, is it still a good fit for everyone? Does it make sense for you, or do you want that sale too much? Does it make sense for them, or are they absolutely flat broke? or are they not even a client that you've typically helped or you've helped before? Does it still make sense for both of you? Are they ready and wanting to hear your offer? Meaning, have they leaned in? Have they already asked you how much it costs? Have they asked you, I really want to know more about what you do? Or have they said, I don't even know what you guys do yet. I feel weird answering some of these questions. That's how you know they're ready for an offer. So after you do your recap, you want to give one or two keystone pieces, key pieces of the pie here. This is a part of your diagnosis. So it's part of that middle chunk. You want to start to share and present your offer. And I always like to give the one or the two that are either first or I know is going to have the biggest impact and give them a short win. Ryan and I talk about this a lot, about the little wins. Those little micro wins are huge for someone who's in fear. If they're scared shitless and they've got uncertainty and you give them that little win right up front, what did you do? You just bought some time until their next panic attack. There's going to be another one. All right. So when we're here in the conversation, logistically, do they still have time? Are you being mindful of time? Hey, we said about 45 minutes. We're at 40 minutes now. Just want to make sure. Do you have another 15 minutes or so to chat? Oh yeah, I'm good. Right? Oh no, actually, I'm late for another meeting. Okay, cool. Let me send you a little bit of info via email. When would be best to chat with you? Next week, this week, tomorrow. Right? Keep that pace quick and make sure you get things scheduled that day. Do not let it go a day without scheduling a follow-up if you have not made them an offer and you need to make them an offer. Lastly, don't fall into the lazy trap. So this goes on the other side of our friendly trap, right? Don't act like just because they're your bro that you don't need to solve their problem, because you do. Bros don't let bros drop in off of the skyscraper here. Say, bro, there's a skate park like 5 blocks over. I think you went up the wrong elevator. No, obviously. We want them to be
good bro.
That's a good bro, right? Hey, probably don't drop in off the skyscraper. But don't fall into the lazy trap, just like you don't want to fall into the friendly trap. It's the same laziness. It's just thinking, oh, this person likes me. I don't really need to sell them. I don't need to really get them clear on how they're going to benefit from this. I'll just tell them it's going to make them $10,000 a month, and then I'll tell them the price, and we're going to be gravy. It's not the case. Okay. All right. How's this feeling so far, guys? This is for you. I'm going to ask you this just as you're going to ask all of your prospects before you go on. How does this feel so far? Is there anything that Ryan and I covered that has given you the wrong kind of goosebumps? Because I want to give you those good goosebumps. So why I bring this up is because intuition is not something that we can teach. We can encourage you again and again to use it, listen to it, act on it. The best way to build this muscle is stretching it, flexing it, and make sure that you're using it consistently. So in your daily conversations, in your Albert Einstein quotes here, it's your sacred gift. It's your sacred gift. So I want you to be able to confidently use it.
That's some role playing too, man. That's role playing is a super safe environment where we can go over stuff and feel vulnerable, and that's just a part of it. It's we need that. We need that to be authentic, when we show up on these calls. Yeah.
So we're going to put you in touch with other high ticket consultants that are looking for role play partners. We are going to be doing some group role play here in the future. But really, I want to encourage you to get out in your daily conversations, right? Your everyday conversations, just like, Ryan and I pick this up whenever we're talking to our partners, whenever Ryan's talking to his kiddos, and especially whenever we're just out and about with strangers. We notice this stuff now. We're tuned into it. So that's part of our gift. And that's why we love it. That's why we're doing this work. So I can articulate and philosophize and intellectualize what intuition is, why it's valuable. I just can't show you how to use it. So this is your gift for yourself. So let's do a recap. At this point, you know a whole heck of a lot about your prospect. They know very little about what you do. Be mindful of that energy. Be cognizant of how they may be feeling like the tables got turned on them. So especially if you're going to delay this offer for whatever reason, for time, for logistics, or for just they're not really digging it, be mindful of that. They're going to want you to tell them the price. We've got to stay true to our framing. So if they're engaged on these 4 points, it's time to go full speed ahead. We're going to cover this in the next module. If they're connected to you, if you're in rapport with each other, and they're comfortable after hearing your diagnosis. So just like when you frame the call, you don't want to frame the call into oblivion to where they feel like you're just going to be an asshole. It's the same thing here. Are they still comfortable that you actually had an accurate diagnosis, or were you way off the marker? Are they committed? They're responsible for their past, but they're not really clinging on to it. I want to make sure that they're not just dragging along all of their baggage from the past. And they're saying, yep, I'm ready to go. How much does it cost? They are resourceful. They're resourceful in finding a way no matter what. So if it takes 6 hours or 6 months, they want to work with you. It's their goal to work with you. They like you. They've enjoyed the conversation with you. Everything that you've told them and asked them so far makes sense. And they aren't blaming or victimizing or giving their power away to money, fear, or other people's opinions. They're not going to let that stop them this time. And they're ready now. If they've got roadblocks, pace your offer until it makes sense. If they have a wedding or a trip or some sort of other working arrangement, or they've got a coaching program that they have another few weeks on, don't make them an offer. You've heard that. We've heard that that quote, you cannot have two masters. Can't have two masters. And I believe that stays true at the high ticket level. If you're selling info products, guys, and your video course is $300-400, that's great. Awesome. Good for you. If that person has a high level coach, they can absolutely enroll in your video course. But if you are a high ticket offer of any sort, and most of you should be, or desire to be working on one, they cannot enroll into 2 high ticket programs at once. It will not make sense, especially if they are coaching programs. They're gonna butt heads 9 times out of 10. If they're tuned in, don't have any clear obstacles, it's go time. You make them an offer.
A crucial point of having found out a ton of stuff on these calls. A lot of fun to do it. These stories and the things that come out and the people you will meet are incredible.
Yep.
You know, some of these people are going to touch your life just as much as the things are going to help them. So think of it as an awesome adventure. Yep. Don't get too bogged down in all the nuances and complexities. That there really is a good holistic feel to all this, right? Just kind of having conversations, and some of the role plays we'll do in the future here in the group. Hearing some of the call breakdowns we're going to be doing, all this stuff is just going to be second nature, right? It's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
Yes. Yeah, it should be our second nature to communicate. So we're just going to teach you a different way of communicating, and it starts with asking questions. So we'll leave you on this note for today, and then we'll see you whenever it comes time to sell and present. How quickly do you typically make your decisions? So think of all the big decisions you've made in your life. How quickly do you typically make those decisions? What factors do you look at? Because that's going to reflect on your calls. Whenever you start taking calls, or if you're already taking calls, it's reflecting, I can promise you. The way you get hung up on certain details, those people are going to show up and they're going to get hung up on the same details. So you may not be seeing that right now, so we're going to help you see that stuff.
Dude, can I be a part of that one too? Because that sounds interesting.
Please. We will all be a part of it, myself included.
All right.
Absolutely. Well, it's been fun, guys. As always, we love doing this. I hope you enjoy it. Ryan and Cody sign off. We'll see you next time.
Peace, guys.